Hi, and welcome to Limbus Company. If you're picking up this game on the current event, you are in luck because it's one of the best times to start playing. Don't worry, even if you're not, most of this setup will still apply. This guy is for like setting up your early game. I'm not gonna go in depth with combat here. Limbus is probably one of the less grindy and more for gacha games that I've known. Just like most of the gacha games, they tend to have events that run along the main story. And these have trade shops where you can exchange currency earned by playing into goodies that will help you progress through the game easily. As this video is released, there are two events going at the same time, LCB Checkup and the Kurokumo event, which means that just by playing the game normally, you get double of the income for both of these trade shops. Right after Silvaskura, one of the things you can do is go to your friends and add one of your friends or me ID on the description so that you can bring one of your friends' support IDs into battle. If you add me and I accept your request, you can have Kurokumo Ryoshu, whose ego attack and ID will give you a boost to the income for both trade shops that are going up right now. You don't have to take it into battle, just make sure you select them before you launch into the battle, and even after that you will still get the boost to the tokens for both events. This is completely optional and it's entirely up to you. Right after that, we can head to the starter banner and do 10 or 20 pulls. You want to do these pulls because it'll give you 1 or 2 3-star IDs who are going to be your main carries for the early game. Unlike other gacha games, when you unlock playable characters, in Limbus you unlock IDs which are basically alternate versions of the sinners who are more powerful in their own ways than their base IDs. When you're gambling, if you don't get an ID immediately or you get a repeat, you will get small ID shards instead, which you can use on the dispensary to trade for IDs of your choice. Leveling is one of the most important things you can do this early into the game. One of the skill tickets is going to give you enough experience to take your sinner from level 1 to 17, which is good enough, at least for the first 2 chapters of the story, also known as cantos. For the most part, during these first chapters, you can just click win rate and watch as your sinners do all the work for you, letting you just sit down and relax, watch this story and the cutscenes from the cantos. After you beat a stage, you can go to the event shops and trading for the resources you need. You want to prioritize experience tickets. If you're a gambler, which all gacha games ought to be, you can also get pull tickets for the new banner for the Kurokumo Ishmael. Personally, I'm saving tokens from the Kurokumo to get the Heathcliff ID, which is 1000. It's one of the better IDs at the moment, and getting to use him is just really fun. Of course, it's up to you whether you instead want to get the resources first. Every stage you play uses Encapo, which is this game's equivalent of the stamina system. Many other gacha games have this stamina can be transformed into modules which you will need later on for lot excavation at the dungeons inside of the campaigns. If you run out of resources, feel free to head into the event shop and buy the boxes which then can transform back into the stamina. Or just spend a little bit of lunacy, which is the premium currency of this game, to refill your bar. Because early game is so easy, more often than not you will just be leveling up while playing the campaign and refilling back your stamina bar per each level. So I don't think you really need to spend much lunacy and Capolin if you know what you're doing. When you load into combat, the very first ID you choose is eventually going to get 2 skill slots after the first turn. So make sure you have your 3-star ID or your carry set up as the sinner number 1. Make sure, once more, you have your support ID selected so that you get the extra boost, or if you want to outright use it in combat, you can. There's no problems with that. As I mentioned, for Canto 1 and 2, being leveled to 17 to 18 is perfectly fine. When you get to Canto 3, you want to start slowly leveling up to 26 so that you can comfortably beat the later on stages and bosses. Additional to this, the game has tiers for the IDs you just acquired. 1, 2, 3, 4. You want to make sure that as you start Canto 3, you spend enough thread to put Uptide 3 on your carry sinners. This is because Uptide 3 locks behind the skill 3 and the passive, which tends to be great part of the kits of the IDs that you are playing with. For Canto 4, you want to start leveling towards 30 to 35, and Canto 5, 35 to 40. These are just ideal levels, but being as leveled as you can will make sure that you can still just win right through the game without having to read much of the bosses. Once more, I'll cover combat if this guy blows up or people need more help in the comments. Combat is easy, it just requires a bit of time to explain. At the moment, one of the best teams to grind for are the bloodfiends, which are all stronger than individual and a little bit as a team. Alternatively, you can grind for the full team of the Kurokumo, which thanks to Ishmael and Heathcliff is easily one of the strongest team in the game and one of the easiest ones to fucking use. Even if it has a bunch of 2-star IDs and release IDs, the boosts that Kurokumo Ishmael gives are just insane and are going to make these IDs, who are mediocre at best, top tier for most of the game content. But it's really up to you. Later on, maybe you can look into what teams or what statuses effect you want to build for your ideal content team. At the end of the day, Limbus is a really fun game and it has a really entertaining story, so just feel free to not care too much about the gameplay and just try to enjoy the cutscenes and the story and soundtrack. If you have any friends who you think this guy might be useful, feel free to share it to them, even if this video has been posted way long before you send them. What matters most is that you have fun, so press win rate, win the clashes, win the game, save the ego, face the sin, whatever else, and just have fun. Thank you for watching. I'll see you later.